Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, why do I always struggle with this one thing? Why can't I just be better at it? It's a question that haunts many of us, especially in a fast-paced world where social media showcases everyone's highlight reels, making our own shortcomings feel even more glaring. But what if I told you that those very weaknesses, the ones that keep you up at night, could become your greatest assets? Hello friends. Welcome to this exploration of Napoleon Hill's profound wisdom on turning weaknesses into strengths. I'm here to guide you gently through this transformative process, drawing from Hill's timeless principles that have empowered millions to achieve extraordinary success. As someone who's studied Hill's work extensively, I can assure you, this isn't about quick fixes or superficial advice. It's about deep, meaningful change that resonates with your soul. Today, we'll uncover how to flip the script on your perceived flaws, creating a unique edge that sets you apart, especially if you're a young adult in places like the United States, the United Kingdom, or Australia, where societal pressures to be perfect can feel overwhelming. Imagine emerging stronger, more confident, and ready to tackle life's challenges with renewed vigor. Let's embark on this journey together, step by step, and discover how you can harness Hill's insights to build a life of purpose and fulfillment. Point 1. Acknowledge your weaknesses with compassion. First and foremost, let's start by acknowledging your weaknesses without the harsh self-criticism that so often accompanies them. Napoleon Hill, in his groundbreaking book, Think and Grow Rich, emphasized the importance of self-awareness as the foundation of all personal growth. He believed that denying our flaws only gives them more power over us. Instead, approach this with compassion, like a kind friend consoling you on a tough day. Think about it. In our modern lives, especially for young people in developed countries, we're bombarded with ideals of success, perfect careers, flawless relationships, and endless productivity. It's easy to feel inadequate if you're introverted in a world that rewards extroverts, or if you procrastinate amid constant deadlines. But Hill taught that every great leader he studied, from Thomas Edison to Henry Ford, had weaknesses they first had to face head-on. Let me share a relatable story. Imagine a young professional in New York City, fresh out of college, who struggles with public speaking. In meetings, her heart races, words tumble out awkwardly, and she fears judgment from colleagues. This weakness makes her dread promotions that involve presentations. But by acknowledging it compassionately, saying to herself, "This is a part of me right now, and that's okay," she opens the door to change. Hill would remind us that this acknowledgement isn't defeat, it's the first step toward mastery. He interviewed over 500 successful individuals and found that none were born perfect. They all started by honestly assessing their limitations. To make this practical for you, take a quiet moment, perhaps with a journal in hand, and list 3 weaknesses that bother you most. Don't judge, just observe. For instance, if impatience is your Achilles heel, note how it shows up in traffic jams or waiting for career breakthroughs. This exercise, inspired by Hill's philosophy of definite purpose, builds trust in yourself. It shows you're proactive, not passive. And remember, in countries like the UK or Australia, where work-life balance is valued but competition is fierce, this self-compassion prevents burnout. It's not weakness to admit flaws. It's the mark of an intelligent, evolving person. By embracing this, you're already stronger than you realize. We'll build on this foundation in the next points, turning acknowledgement into action. Point 2. Analyze your weaknesses for hidden opportunities. Now that we've acknowledged our weaknesses with kindness, the next step is to analyze them deeply to uncover hidden opportunities. Napoleon Hill was a master at this. He often said that every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. This isn't just motivational fluff. It's a practical tool he derived from studying industrial titans who turned setbacks into breakthroughs. For young adults in the West, where innovation drives economies, this analysis can be a game changer. Think of it as detective work on your own life. What lies beneath that weakness? How might it serve you in disguise? Consider the example of shyness, a common trait among introspective thinkers. In a society that prizes networking events and bold pitches, it might feel like a liability, but Hill would encourage you to dig deeper. Analyze. Shy people often excel at listening, observing nuances others miss, and building deep, meaningful connections rather than superficial ones. A software developer in Silicon Valley, for instance, might use their introversion to focus intensely on coding, creating apps that solve real problems because they've quietly studied user needs. Hill's principle here is to ask probing questions. When does this weakness appear? What triggers it? And crucially, what strengths does it mask? Let's make this actionable. Grab that journal again, and for each weakness, brainstorm 3 potential upsides. If you're disorganized, perhaps it stems from a creative mind that thinks in bursts rather than straight lines. Perfect for brainstorming sessions in creative industries like advertising in London or Sydney. Hill emphasized the power of organized knowledge, but he also knew chaos can breed innovation. He shared stories of inventors who failed repeatedly, analyzing each flop to find the gold. In your analysis, look for patterns from past experiences. Maybe your fear of failure pushed you to prepare meticulously, leading to unexpected successes. This step builds trust because it's evidence-based, not wishful thinking. In developed nations where therapy and coaching are accessible, pairing this with professional insights can amplify results. But even alone, it's empowering. Hill believed in the subconscious mind's role. By analyzing, you plant seeds that grow into strengths. Remember, friends, this isn't about overnight transformation. It's a gentle process of discovery. As we move forward, you'll see how this analysis feeds into reframing your entire mindset. Point 3. Reframe your mindset using Hill's success formulas. With analysis in hand, it's time to reframe your mindset, aligning it with Napoleon Hill's proven success formulas. Hill taught that our thoughts shape our reality, a concept central to his philosophy of desire, faith, and autosuggestion. For many young people in the US, UK, or Australia, mindset shifts are crucial amid economic uncertainties and mental health challenges. Reframing isn't ignoring weaknesses. It's viewing them through a lens of possibility, turning "I can't" into "how can I?" Hill's formula starts with burning desire. Cultivate a passionate want to transform that weakness. Then infuse it with faith. Believe it's possible. He used autosuggestion, repeating affirmations to reprogram the mind. For example, if perfectionism paralyzes you, reframe it as a drive for excellence. A student in Melbourne struggling with it might say daily, "My high standards guide me to quality work, and I release the need for flawlessness." Hill drew this from his mentor Andrew Carnegie, who turned humble beginnings into steel empires by reframing poverty as motivation. Let's explore a real-world application. Suppose you're easily distracted in an era of endless notifications, a weakness for focus. Reframe. This adaptability makes you versatile in multitasking roles, like project management. Hill would advise visualizing success. Close your eyes and see yourself thriving because of this trait. In his book, he details how leaders like Franklin D. Roosevelt reframed physical limitations into empathetic leadership. To practice, create personalized affirmations based on your analysis. If insecurity about skills haunts you in competitive job markets, affirm, "My unique experiences make me irreplaceable." Repeat them morning and evening, as Hill suggested. This builds emotional resilience, especially for millennials and Gen Z facing imposter syndrome. It's intelligent because it's backed by psychology. Modern studies echo Hill's ideas on neuroplasticity. Friends, this reframing fosters a caring inner dialogue, replacing self-doubt with empowerment. It's expert advice rooted in Hill's decades of research. As you adopt this, persistence becomes natural, which we'll discuss next. You're not just surviving weaknesses, you're alchemizing them into gold. Point 4. Harness persistence to build unbreakable strength. Persistence is the engine that turns reframed weaknesses into enduring strengths, and Napoleon Hill called it the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. In our instant gratification world, especially for youth in prosperous nations, persistence can feel elusive amid quick wins and viral successes. But Hill's studies showed that every triumph, from Edison's 10,000 light bulb attempts to your own career breakthroughs, demands it. This point is about committing long-term, treating weaknesses as training grounds. Imagine a young entrepreneur in Chicago whose weakness is fear of rejection, making sales calls daunting. Hill would say persist. Start small, make one call a day, building tolerance like a muscle. He shared how he himself persisted through poverty and failures to write his masterpieces. Persistence isn't brute force. It's gentle consistency, allowing for rest to avoid burnout common in high-pressure environments. To harness it, set micro-goals tied to your weakness. If procrastination is your foe, persist with the 2-minute rule. Start any task for just 2 minutes. Hill's mastermind principle helps. Surround yourself with supportive peers, like joining online communities in the UK for accountability. Track progress in a success journal, noting small wins to fuel momentum. Emotionally, this builds trust. You prove to yourself you're capable. In Australia, where work cultures emphasize balance, persistence means smart effort, not endless grind. Hill warned against quitting at the first obstacle. Instead, view setbacks as feedback. A story. A British artist turned poor drawing skills into a signature style through daily practice, persisting until galleries noticed her uniqueness. This intelligent approach differentiates you. While others give up, you evolve. It's caring because it honors your pace. As Hill said, patience, persistence, and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success. With this, you're ready to learn from examples, bridging theory to inspiration. Point 5. Learn from real-life examples inspired by Hill. To make these principles vivid, let's draw from real-life examples inspired by Napoleon Hill's interviews with history's giants. Hill spent 20 years studying over 500 successes, revealing that turning weaknesses into strengths is universal. For young Western audiences, these stories provide relatable motivation, showing that even icons struggled and triumphed. Take Helen Keller, whom Hill admired. Blind and deaf, her weaknesses became strengths in advocacy, teaching empathy and determination. Or consider Oprah Winfrey, a modern parallel. Her traumatic childhood, a perceived flaw, fueled her emotional intelligence, building a media empire. Hill's own life. Orphaned young, he turned insecurity into a drive for knowledge, interviewing titans like Carnegie. A contemporary example. A tech startup founder in San Francisco with dyslexia reframed it as creative thinking, innovating user-friendly designs others overlooked. Hill's principle of specialized knowledge applies. Use your weakness to niche down. Another, J.K. Rowling, in the UK, turned depression into the rich, emotional world of Harry Potter, persisting through rejections. These stories stir emotions because they're human. Vulnerability leads to victory. For Aussies facing tall poppy syndrome, where standing out is discouraged, these inspire bold differentiation. Hill emphasized learning from others via masterminds. Perhaps start a book club on his works. Reflect. Which example resonates? Maybe your social anxiety, like introverted leaders Hill studied, honed strategic thinking for remote work booming post-pandemic. These tales build faith. If they did it, so can you. It's expert insight, not theory. Now let's tie it with actionable steps. Point 6. Take actionable steps to create lasting change. Finally, in the main content, let's focus on actionable steps to solidify turning weaknesses into strengths. Napoleon Hill stressed definite plans backed by action. Without this, ideas remain dreams. For young adults in developed countries, where resources abound but overwhelm persists, these steps provide a clear path, building confidence through tangible progress. Step 1. Create a weakness to strength blueprint. List your top weakness, its opportunity from analysis, a reframed affirmation, and daily persistent actions. For public speaking fears, action. Join Toastmasters or record weekly videos. Step 2. Seek feedback loops. Hill's mastermind groups. Form one with friends or online. In the US, apps like LinkedIn facilitate this. Share vulnerabilities. Gain perspectives. Step 3. Measure and celebrate. Track weekly. How has this strength manifested? Reward yourself. A coffee treat reinforces positive habits. Step 4. Integrate with Hill's broader principles. Combine with desire. Visualize outcomes nightly. In the UK, where wellness apps are popular, use meditation tools for auto-suggestion. A story. A Sydney marketer turned analytical overthinking into data-driven strategies, actioning by leading team brainstorms, boosting her career. These steps are simple yet profound, ensuring emotional engagement. You feel supported. They're intelligent, drawing from Hill's empirical research. Implement gently. Change takes time. With this, you're equipped for transformation. As we wrap up this journey through Napoleon Hill's wisdom on turning weaknesses into strengths, take a moment to reflect on how far you've come in just these 20 minutes. You've learned to acknowledge with compassion, analyze for opportunities, reframe your mindset, harness persistence, draw inspiration from examples, and take concrete actions. Remember, Hill's message is clear. Your weaknesses aren't roadblocks, they're raw materials for your masterpiece life. In a world that often demands perfection, embracing this path sets you free to shine uniquely. Now, I encourage you to pause and ponder. What's one weakness you'll start transforming today? How might it change your trajectory? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you've learned or how this resonates with you. Your story could inspire someone else. If this video touched you, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more gentle, expert guidance on personal growth, and share it with a friend who needs this encouragement. Together, let's build a community of resilient, empowered individuals. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, keep thinking and growing rich in spirit and success.